This is Arkies in the Beltway, your look at national politics and the Arkansans influencing the discussions. I'm Alex Thomas, Washington correspondent for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, reporting from the nation's capital. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Arkies in the Beltway for the week of December 7th, 2025. Questions linger on Capitol Hill about the U.S. military and strikes on small boats traveling from Latin America. The Trump administration has embraced multiple strategies as part of its plan confronting drug trafficking. This includes military strikes against boats reportedly carrying drugs. Senators and House members received briefings about one such attack last week. Those closed-door sessions stem from a Washington Post report about a September operation involving strikes at survivors of an initial attack. Senator Tom Cotton received intelligence information given his capacity as chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Cotton of Little Rock did not hesitate to express his confidence in U.S. Southern Command.
These are narco-terrorists who are trafficking drugs that are destined for the United States to kill thousands of Arkansans and millions of Americans.
Cotton, speaking with reporters last Thursday, the senator also shared some new details about the strikes.
The first strike, the second strike, and the third and the fourth strike on September 2nd were entirely lawful and needful, and they were exactly what we'd expect our military commanders to do.
On the other side of the Capitol, Representative Rick Crawford of Jonesboro leads the House Intelligence Committee. He says he has no doubt in the Department of War's conduct in preventing illicit drugs from entering the United States. Democratic lawmakers have questioned the legality and morality of these military strikes. Connecticut Representative Jim Himes, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, described video of the attack as, quote, one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my public service. Cotton dismissed this description.
What's disturbing to me is that millions of Americans have died from drugs being run to America by these cartels. What's gratifying to me is that the president has made the decision, finally, after decades of letting it happen, that we're going to take the battle to them.
Representative Steve Womack of Rogers says he assumes the U.S. military properly vets the potential threat of these small boats before conducting the strikes. Womack does not serve on the House Intelligence Committee, but a constituent asked him about the attacks during a telephone town hall last Tuesday.
And I promise you that in every single one of these circumstances, there is a JAG officer sitting right next to that commander that's going to issue that order that is opining the legality, not just the lethality, but the legality of that particular strike.
The White House stands by the use of military force, saying Navy Vice Admiral Frank Bradley worked within his authority and the law in overseeing the September attacks. The Arkansas Army National Guard has been deployed to Washington, D.C. Around 100 guardsmen left the natural state to join other units, participating in President Donald Trump's law enforcement sweep of the nation's capital. The deployment of multiple National Guard units has faced legal challenges. The D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals paused an order that would have forced guardsmen out of Washington. The Arkansas Army National Guard will have members around the nation's capital through most of February. We anticipate the Department of Agriculture will announce economic assistance for farmers in this new week. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins previewed such an announcement to reporters last Tuesday. The payments would assist farmers continuing to struggle amid high input costs and low crop prices, as well as changes in international trade thanks to the Trump administration's use of tariffs. The University of Arkansas System Division of Agriculture contributing to research projecting Arkansas operations will experience an 8% decline in net farm income this year. Senator John Bozeman of Rogers leads the Senate Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry Committee. He says both the White House and Congress want to help producers in the best and most effective way.
The problem has been, who needs it, how much is it going to be, and how you distribute it.
Republicans included adjustments to farm and crop programs in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Those changes, however, will not take effect until the second half of next year. Since our last episode of Arkies in the Beltway, very few topics have gotten as much attention as the college football coaching carousel. The biggest move in recent weeks has been Lane Kiffin's departure from Ole Miss for Louisiana State. But amid the Kiffin sweepstakes, The University of Arkansas football program made its own move, naming Ryan Silverfield as the Razorbacks' new head coach. Silverfield arrives in Fayetteville after 6 seasons leading the University of Memphis football team. Senator Bozeman understands what it's like to play for the Razorbacks. A former offensive lineman, he says Silverfield has what it takes to make Arkansas a great program.
Now it's up for the state to back him and provide the resources that he needs so that we can be competitive in the most difficult conference in the country, the SEC.
The Razorbacks' 2025 campaign was one to forget. The team ended the season with a 2-10 record and no conference wins. The university fired head coach Sam Pittman in late September. Offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino took helm of the program on an interim basis. Representative Bruce Westerman played defensive back for the Razorbacks. He argues one key to Silverfield's success has to be recruiting homegrown talent.
I mean, if you grow up in Arkansas, it just means a lot to play for the Razorbacks. And I think you bring some attitude and grit to the table that makes up for maybe some perceived athletic ability at times.
Silverfield got a taste of Arkansas football earlier this year when the Memphis Tigers hosted the Razorbacks on September 20th. Memphis beat Arkansas 32-31. The SEC poses tougher challenges with teams like Georgia, Alabama, and Texas. But Westerman says the Razorbacks should always strive for conference championships and national titles.
You know, I come from an era where we legitimately went into every season wanting to win the national championship. We didn't, but we did win 2 conference championships. And I think you have to have the highest of expectations. If you set your expectations anywhere short of that, you're shortchanging yourself and the program.
Unlike their Fayetteville counterparts, the Arkansas State Red Wolves are bowl eligible. Arkansas State and Missouri State will face off in the first ever Xbox Bowl, that game set for December 18th in Frisco, Texas. And that'll do it for this edition of Arkies in the Beltway for the week of December 7th, 2025. You can stay up to date with all news involving Arkansas at arkansasonline.com. Special thanks, as always, to the team down in Little Rock. I'm Alex Thomas, and this has been Arkies in the Beltway. Thanks for listening.